Good evening, folks. This is Deb. It's pretty late on Thursday night, but I'm actually off on Friday. So I tried to make this video in the morning before work, but I didn't want to, just throw something together. So, let's talk a little bit here about some of the questions I get asked all the time. So, and I know today that Prince Andrew, or the former Prince Andrew, who is now known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, because he is now the disgraced former prince who was stripped of everything by the royal family after his association with Jeffrey Epstein. He was arrested today and held for 12 hours of questioning uh, due to his association with Epstein and the fact that he may have shared secrets, state secrets, government secrets with Epstein. Now, he was released, uh, but this is not over, okay? It's not. And I think the look on the former disgraceful, disgusting, disgraced Prince Andrew, the look in his face shows that he thought he was untouchable in this regard, but he's clearly not. So someone asked me, why don't we do that here in the United States? You know, the slow burn to fascism has been just that, okay? And the change that has gone on in this country since 2016 was so slow that people almost didn't realize it, right? Until Donald Trump was reelected. Now, it has progressed at a fevered pitch over just a little bit over a year that this guy's been in office, okay? So let's talk about that, because there's a lot of reasons why we haven't got any kind of rule of law or justice in this country. Let's talk about that, because apparently for 77 million people, the fact that Donald Trump, tried to overthrow this government on January 6, 2021, so that he could remain in power, a man who literally invited violent people to the Capitol, where they attacked police officers, where 5 people died in a genuine fucking insurrection. That was not the breaking point for many American voters in 2024, okay? Nor was the fact that he is a 34-time convicted felon. Nor was the fact that he was an adjudicated rapist in the E. Jean Carroll case. Nor was the fact that Jack Smith would have put him behind bars for what he did by stealing government documents. That was not enough for the American people. That is one reason, okay? Because, of course, it's the economy, stupid. And everybody believed that Donald Trump was going to make America great again by lowering the price of groceries. Have you checked out your food bill? Have you checked out your electric bill? Have you checked out anything that you're paying for now? We are screwed here in America. But that was all that mattered to people. It didn't matter that we were going to lose our rights, because we have lost our rights, okay? So that's one of the reasons why we don't have any justice here. The second reason is that Donald Trump constructed a government where there is no rule of law, okay? There is no rule of law here. We had Pam Bondi disgrace herself in front of a congressional hearing where she virtually ignored and thumbed her nose at the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. A woman who talked about other stuff like how great the stock market is when she doesn't even really know how the stock market even works, and kind of made an ass of herself on that topic as well. An arrogant, freaking, pedophile protecting female. This is exactly why Donald Trump constructed this government the way he has constructed this government. And by no stretch of the imagination, the elites are responsible as well. They have supported him financially. They have supported him in every way possible. And this is what fascism is. This is the classic falling into fascism story here in America. A country run by the elites who are now running from what they have done to themselves. Do you want a list of the elites who are in the Epstein files? I'll give you a small list right here, right now, okay? We already went through Prince Andrew, okay? Sarah Ferguson, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, Bill Clinton, Stephen Tisch, Casey Wasserman, who is the head of the 2028 Olympic Committee, who sent flirty emails to our friend Ghislaine Maxwell about seeing her in a tight leather outfit. Ehud Barak, Larry Summers, Sergey Brin, who is the co-founder of Google. And the list goes on and on and on. On and on and on. So this is where we find ourselves right now. There will be no prosecutions of any of these people, even if they did involve themselves with underage girls, because this is not what our DOJ does anymore. Okay? We wanted to bring Donald Trump to justice. I can tell you right now that that was the plan. We actually had him convicted. And I'm going to tell you right now, he would have been convicted in the documents case. There is no question in my mind. But, you know, while the forefathers may have foreseen someone like Donald Trump, what they did not plan on was a Congress that was complicit in protecting him, or a Supreme Court that was complicit in granting him authority to the nth degree. And these are all the reasons why we don't see any of this here. The elites will not be punished under this administration. So I'm going to say this again and again and again and again. The only landslide that happened in 2024 were the 90 million people who decided to stay home and thumb their nose at democracy. A democracy now that is on life support. And now they're trying to pass the SAVE Act to keep women from voting. How far did you think they were going to take this? Didn't you think they were going to go this far? Let me just tell you something. I'm going to say this again. We need to burn this the fuck down in November. The bigger the victory, the better. There is not one Republican who should be returned to office. Not one. Not a one. Not one. And if you are a Republican and you're planning on supporting the Republican Party, then shame on you. Because the more I hear about the party of family values and caring about the children, you don't give a shit about the children. You can't possibly give a shit about the children. I do not care who it is, but the Republican Party needs to be crushed in November of this year. Because if we do not crush the Republican Party in November, there will be no 2028 election. That is a green light for Donald Trump. And the Republican Party, I don't care if Donald Trump drops dead tomorrow. I don't care. He is the head of the snake, but there's a whole nest of snakes now. And the Republican Party made Donald Trump who he is. The Republican Party turned their party over to Donald Trump. The Republican Party has been complicit in everything he has done, from Susan Collins all the way up the line. All the way up the line. Just as she, I mentioned Susan Collins because she pisses me off, okay? Just as she agreed to, okay, Brent Kavanaugh. She's agreeing to the SAVE Act now with caveats. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. If she is reelected in Maine, there's something, they should, you know what? Bugs Bunny should forget about cutting Florida off the map. They should carve out Maine while he's at it. The Republican Party needs to go down in flames in November. And the bigger the victory, the less they can try to steal this thing. The American people, this is now, it's now on us. It's do or die come November. You want to see justice in this country? You want the Gestapo to stop invading our cities and, harming our immigrant friends? The people who have sweat and slaved in this country? You want to see women have their autonomy back? You can't just talk about it. You need to do something about it. If you sit at home again, shame on you. You are as bad as the people who are voting for the Republican Party. I don't say this lightly, folks. This is where we are right now. You want to see prosecutions for these scumbags? How about Howard Lutnick, who took his wife and 4 children and their nannies to Pedophile Island for a family vacation in 2012, supposedly after he cut ties with Epstein. He never cut ties with Epstein. There are other places where they could have gone to a family vacation, but instead he chose Pedophile Island. And by the way, I believe one of Howard Lutnick's nannies caught the eye of Jeffrey Epstein. And he had expressed an interest in meeting her prior to his visit. The elites know no bounds. They know no bounds. There is no depth to which they will not go for their own gratification. They have proven it. Oh, they're all leaving their jobs now. It needs to go much further than that. But it is not going to go there as long as the Republican Party is in power. I will talk to you all later.